very warm welcome to you. This is Afternoon Express. My name is Jeannie D, and we are so excited today because we've got the best guest ever.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's lovely to be here. How are you, Jeannie?
I'm so fabulous.
Awesome.
So excited for our guest.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to tell you who it is just yet.
Now, it's midweek through the week, and today we're joined by two incredible women who've entertained South African audiences for decades. Later on, we'll be sitting down with veteran radio presenter Irma G.
Woo-hoo.
She's been on pretty much every radio station in the mother city, and I'm sure she has a few stories to tell.
Then we are also looking at finances today, and we're joined by our SABRIC expert to chat about how you can avoid being roped into a money laundering scheme. Plus, plenty of cooking on the show. We're making a buttermilk panna cotta, and Clem shows us how to make the perfect steak.
The show today is going to be absolutely amazing. So the girls mentioned that there were two incredible guests on the show today. We've only mentioned one so far, and I don't think I've ever been so giddy to be on Afternoon Express in a very, very long time. If you've been on our social media accounts, you'll know exactly who we're talking about on the show today, and she's absolutely amazing. So go onto Facebook right now. The question we're asking you, Miss Thandeka, we're going to call her PJ Thandeka Powers, joins us in the loft today, and we're asking you, of all the songs she's released over the years that she's been performing music, which ones have particularly important memories for you? We'd love to hear from you on our social media sites, Facebook as well as Twitter, #Afternoon Express. I know that I'm not the kind of crying type, I really ain't, but one thing that does always get me crying is World and Union. I don't know what it is about that song, but it really just touches my heart every single time. So share your stories with us on our Facebook page. We'd love to hear from you. First up, as we mentioned, PJ is here, and she's been on the scene for more than 35 years. Can you believe it? She's released 15 albums over that time, and her professional career started in the late 70s with that all-girl group Panther. But she really made a big name for herself with the rock band Hotline, which became hugely popular across the whole of Southern Africa. And who could ever forget one of the biggest hits to come out in the 80s, Jabulane. She's here!
I was waiting to be invited.
No, well,
How are you,
are
darling?
always invited. So lovely to have you.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to be here.
Yeah. When that song came out, did you ever know that it was going to be such a hit?
No, of course not. Nobody ever thinks anything's going to be a
So you
huge
don't get a
hit.
feeling. You don't just get this
You know,
energy
I
in the
think that when
studio.
we were recording that song, there was actually another song that was in the offing to be the single on that album. But when we started to... When Jabulani started to emerge, it just started to... It was like a horse at the back, actually. It just started, if you just picture that, and it eventually just it was no photo finish for it. But by the time the album we'd recorded it all, it was way head and shoulders above the rest of the songs, you know. Three chords going in the same pattern over and over again. Hate to be a guitarist and have to sing that.
You're known as Thandeka, but before we get into how you came to be known as that, how did you get the name PJ Powers? Because Powers, you know?
Well, Powers. You know,
How did that come about?
Well, my real name is Penelope Jane Dunlop.
Okay.
And when I was very lucky because I was picked up very early in my career. I was 18, and one of the things and I was very, very, very overweight, like really overweight, and there was no way I was going out as a tennis ball or a tire. Can you imagine the headlines? You know, PJ rolls onto stage. I was always called Penelope. I mean Penelope Jane, PJ at school, so that came easily. But I wasn't going to be a Dunlop, and then they gave me a choice, which was of Penny Lane, PJ Presley and PJ Powers, and you tell me what you would have chosen. Presley? Yeah. I'm joking. Powers. So the thing is that it has worked for me, and I feel I've been Powers since I was just 18, you know, so
Yeah.
it just makes sense to me.
I love it. And then when did you become Thandeka?
Thandeka came a little later, not a lot later, a little later, 1982, 31st of May. Jabulani Amphitheatre, best day of my life. I'm lucky, I'm one of those few people.
So you performed Jabulani at the Jabulani Amphitheatre?
No. Jabulani came later.
Later.
It was just a simple rock ballad that I'd written called You're So Good to Me, in the middle of apartheid South Africa, where Radio Zulu was playing, at the time state-owned, was playing just vernacular stuff.
Wow.
I was suddenly invited to go into Soweto and perform.
And at the time...
Wasn't so cool then, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your music was banned from being played on radio stations.
I got banned a little bit later. I got banned at the end of the 80s, because at the end of the 80s was really the heat was turned up and
did you know you were doing something right when you got banned, or did you feel a bit like, oh, am I jeopardizing
really
my
care.
music career?
You know, at the end of the day, I still live my life by injustice is something I detest more than anything, and I try my hardest. I mean, trust me, I've failed dismally in certain times of my life, but mostly I try to do the right thing. And what was happening in our country was wrong.
That must have been so affirming when you got a letter, though, from Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
From Nelson Mandela.
Break that one.
Yeah.
Much more importantly,
But I heard that Nelson Mandela sent you the most beautiful letter, just
Yeah,
saying
he
keep
did.
on. What did it say?
He wrote me a letter and he said, the opening lines, I remember this because, my goodness, I've read it over and over again, was, you are one of those young people on which the country pins so much hope. And, you know, for me, it was a 2-page letter, and the fact that Nelson Mandela had taken the time, and I was on his mind for that length of time, for me, it was the most daunting thing because he was still incarcerated when he wrote to me.
Yeah.
He was still in prison, and I got a message saying I must go down to the ANC headquarters and blah, 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 blah. I'd been a member of the ANC from when it was banned. But so I went down and I collected this Grammy.
Oh,
really,
wow.
at the end of the
It's
day.
a Grammy,
Yeah.
essentially, it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you published an autobiography not too long ago.
Yeah.
Here I Am. What were some of the difficult times to revisit in your life that you brought to light in the book?
Yeah, Here I Am was more than a biography because I wanted it not just to be about me. I wanted young people to know why we are where we are today. So it was set against the political, you know, sort of backdrop in this country. Some of the difficult times for me to revisit were, the first thing that comes to mind is I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm in my 8th year of sobriety. It was very difficult to dig really deep and go back there. Not for me as much as I hurt a lot of people, and I messed up a lot of people's lives in that time when I was alcoholic, when I was drinking alcoholically, which was about a 6-year period where I crossed that fine line.
And interestingly, you only started drinking later on
Very
in your
late.
life.
I was so focused. I knew what I wanted to do from the age of 5. I used to follow my sister around with a mic, say, please interview me. Because I was like, I was a famous singer in my head. And I was very focused. But I kind of started to wear masks very young because I wasn't the ingenue. I didn't look like you people. I was the fat sort of ugly girl at the back of the class, but I needed to be at the right parties. So I created this larger-than-life personality, and which got me there, but it was a mask, which was covering up a very insecure person. And then I got the next mask, which was PJ Powers, and then Thandeka, and it carried on. You know, I've had an exquisite career, but it's given me lots of places to hide.
Wow.
Something that upset me so much when I was, doing some research on you is finding out that a lot of the rights to your music were kind of owned by the record labels because of contractual things.
Oh, let's not beat around the book now. Let's get real here. It's owned by one man by the name of Mike Fuller, who is Mike Fuller Records, Mike Fuller Music, and Mike Fuller Publishing, and Mike Fuller everything. And he was my manager, my publisher, and my record company. I was young. I was 18, but it's no excuse. I was told that in plain terms the other day, and I didn't pay attention to the rands and cents, and I didn't pay attention to the publishing. I didn't realize that I was actually giving away my intellectual property. In other words, if he died tomorrow, my catalogue of songs that I wrote while I was with him would go to his son, or it would go into his, which I think is, it's a very unhealthy thing. So my message, if anyone has learnt the hard way, it's myself and a lot of other artists in this country and worldwide. But young artists, get involved in your careers. You know, I take an example, somebody like Black Coffee. Black Coffee is involved in his career. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows exactly where the money's coming from, where it's going.
Yeah.
And
You've got to read the fine print.
you have to read the fine print.
Yeah.
Understand the business, not just the creators.
So I was badly, millions and millions, you know.
Wow.
It's in my book. You can read it in detail.
Yeah, we could have you here for the entire show.
you could.
You've
I
had
could
such a
occupy.
fascinating life and such a fascinating career.
I'm lucky.
We're going to hear more from you a little bit later. And, of course, she's going to perform. Plenty more to come from PJ Powers with the second live performance later on in the show. Plus, on social media, we are asking, from Jabulani to World in Union, PJ Powers has created music that has spanned over 2 decades. Which of her songs holds special memories for you?
Now comment on our Facebook posts or tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express. After the break, though, we turn our attention to personal finance, and today we're looking at how you can avoid being roped into a money laundering scheme. Don't go away.
Express yourself.
It's time to talk about that.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, coming to you live on SABC3 this fabulous afternoon. Now, crime continues to be a huge problem in South Africa, but through their cunning tactics, criminals have found ways of involving ordinary citizens in their schemes and scams without their knowledge, which is why the South African Banking and Risk Information continues to educate consumers on how to bank safely.
It's time to talk about that all-important money. And in recent years, we've seen a rise in arrests related to money laundering in the country. And despite the fact that this term is something that many associate with big criminal cases or syndicates, it is also something that many South Africans fall victim to without even their knowledge. And with the promise of easy money, criminals know just what to say to persuade people to becoming money mules. We're joined today by Kalyani Pillay, CEO of the South African Bank Risk Information Center, or SABRIC, to tell us more about these intricate schemes and scams used by those criminals. Welcome to The Loft. It's good to see you again.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Let's begin unpacking money laundering. I mean, it does sound like such a complicated thing, a big syndicate, big plan, big schemes, but sometimes it can happen to the average Joe.
Absolutely. And I think, certainly what's relevant for us to talk about in terms of bank customers is that we're finding that a lot of bank customers are being sort of almost doped into opening bank accounts for other people. They offered small amounts of money, really not significant in terms of what's in the bigger scheme of things that the criminal syndicates actually gain out of unlawful proceeds. And so the money laundering angle comes into it because the criminals need to find a way to make dirty money clean.
I see.
And so they go through this process of having to do a whole lot of things before they can actually get this money, which appears to be legitimate. And so what we've been finding is that bank customers are approached, people who have properly figured bank accounts would be approached, and they would be, in some instances, offered a couple of £1,000, in some instances even a couple of £100, because they know who to target. And in other instances, they would get people to open bank accounts for them and take over the card and the account. And in those instances, we say it's like renting out a bank account. But all of these things are unlawful.
Yeah, it sounds to me, honestly, like that sounds crazy. Who's going to accept to do that? Who's ever going to let somebody use their bank account? I mean, we're all quite conscious people. But what's scaring me is that that's happening on subtle bases. It's like when you have somebody who you employed into your team who perhaps is a foreign citizen who's like, I don't have a bank account. Do you mind if they deposit the money into your account and I'll pay a little bit of money? Does that happen regularly enough?
No, it shouldn't, because any business, for that matter, needs to ensure that anybody that they employed, for one, has the right to be in the country and is legitimate in the country. And if they are, then of course they'd be able to open a bank account. So I think to give an example, just one, and it's something that's actually happened, is you get so many people that are unemployed today, and people are so desperate to get work, and legitimately so. And what the syndicates do, because they do their homework, and they know who's vulnerable, and they may go up to a group of people who are looking and hoping to get, even if it's part-time work. And we had an instance where the syndicate, well, some of the members, had gone to a place where a number of people would be waiting, people like painters and doing odd bits of work on construction sites, and got them into the vehicle and said, look, we went offered them work, and everybody was excited about it. And then took them across to the bank and said, look, we need bank accounts to be opened in this particular bank. And the bank wasn't the problem here. And they said to them, once the bank accounts were opened, they said, well, we need to have your bank card, and when we pay you, we'll give it back to you, and we want all the details and your PIN number. And out of desperation, people go ahead and do that. And of course, it's a way that once they steal monies from other people's accounts, they need to have a way to move it so that they can draw out those monies.
And you, as the person who opened up the bank account, is now fraudulent. You've officially you can be charged with that.
Because, well, in those instances as well, and also not only if you open an account and let somebody else use it, but also if you allow people to use the account that you're actually using every day, to allow a deposit to come in, withdraw that money, give it to the person, irrespective of what reason they give you for doing that. So I think the important thing for people to know is that you actually are complicit in a very serious crime. You become what is called a money mule. If you're approached by someone who asks you to do this for a small fee or for some sum of money that's attractive to you, you have to remember that the fact that you didn't ask questions, I mean, surely you ought to wonder as to why somebody is asking you to have their monies come into your account. In terms of the law, it's considered willful blindness, like, you should have asked, but you went ahead.
Didn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I think it's really important that, people who would normally be the innocent ones become part of these huge crimes.
And getting a criminal record like that on your case, I mean, prevents you from doing lots of things in the country.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's detrimental to you. So
Yes.
what are the top tips that you've got for just to end off?
Well, certainly don't allow anybody to use your bank account at all to receive any monies, ever. It should be an absolute don't open an account for somebody else. Irrespective of what reason they give you, don't open an account for somebody and allow them to transact on that account. I mean, these are just the key things so that you're not involved in money laundering and you're not going to become a money mule. You know, really, as simple as that, really.
So it's funny because as kids in school, the teachers always say, stopping the kid always ask why,
Yes.
why. As an adult, now we're saying, do ask why
Yes,
as many times as
absolutely.
possible.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for this advice. Jeez, I need to go look at all of my different accounts and make sure that all these interactions that I'm having are all legitimate, because it seems like a very subtle thing in a lot of circumstances. So thank you for your advice today. For more tips on how to bank safely and stay ahead of Skellum and his scams, visit the Sabric website, their Facebook page and their Twitter pages.
Wise up, watch out.
Well, there you have it, and it's really, really important to be financially savvy. Now we're crossing over to some social media, and you are really good on social media.
I'm learning, I'm getting
You've
there.
got a great selfie hand.
Yes.
Your angles are good.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, what are your social media handles so we can get everybody to follow you?
Okay, I'm
now?
on Instagram, I'm PJ Powers 1. I don't know who the other PJ Powers is, but I'm PJ Powers 1. Twitter, I'm PJ Powers 1.
Yeah.
And then on Facebook, just PJ Powers /Tandega, which is my Facebook page. So PJ Powers 1, PJ Powers 1, and PJ Powers /Tandega. I need to put my own handle.
Okay, now we're asking everybody online
Yeah.
what their favorite PJ Powers song is. What is your favorite song? Of your own?
Oh, that's a hard question. I'm not so in love with myself. But I probably, I don't know, I love Jabulani. I love I like the newest ones because I'm not bored of them yet.
Yeah.
So it would have to be the new release, Home to Africa. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. We're going to discuss that one a little bit later. Then, Nandi says there's an answer. We find a way to help us put the past behind us. It's a long time. Keep well. And Snacks Madola says, wow, she doesn't get old. Still looking fresh. Oh, we love you, Snacks. We love you. I like that one. The notorious Nicholas Mabilane says, PJ Powers looks good as always. What's her secret for that beautiful face and body? Then Sharon says, she's a true South African. I love her. And can I get a we love you Tandeka? Beautiful. Then Salo Maten says, love PJ. She's so phenomenal and inspiring. And pick me up song is Jabulani. Thank you so much for all of your comments. Look how many you've got. There's so many. So let me just break the laptop quickly. Oh, me and technology.
Smash
It's
it,
terrible.
smash it.
Thank you so much for all of your comments. Keep them coming on our Facebook page, Afternoon Express. Now, after the break, it's time to get in the kitchen. Today, we are making a buttermilk panna cotta with berry compote. How delicious. Oh, plus we're showing you how to make the perfect steak. So don't make a mistake and stay glued to your screen.
Express yourself.
It's good to have you back with us on Afternoon Express. We're live on SABC3 with the very exciting PJ Powers. Loads more guests to come on the show today. It's a show not to be missed. Keep those comments coming through on social media, #Afternoon Express. And remember to catch the next installment of Winner Home on Afternoon Express this coming Friday as our design duos get judged on their second room challenge. And also, don't forget that our Winner Home bi-weekly competition, where this time around you can win a Plascon voucher to the value of 5,000 Rand. You can head over to privateproperty.co.za, click on the Winner Home logo that's at the top of the page there, vote for your favorite design duo, and it's as easy as that. Remember that this also automatically enters you into the grand prize draw, where you could stand your chance of winning the biggest prize on South African television. And I mean that. It's a brand new home valued at more than 3 million Rand. It's going to be epic. Don't miss it this Friday. Let's get cooking.
Whip up your foodie creativity with Clover Cream. Made with love by Clover.
So today we're joined by food photographer and chef Melissa Delport. Melissa will be preparing one of her all-time favorite desserts, a panna cotta. But not just any panna cotta. Listen, I went out last night, the night before in fact, to a beautiful restaurant, and they served me an olive oil panna cotta.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't my favorite. Olive oil is too pungent. The one that you've got on the show today is my favorite of all time.
Yes, I've decided to mix the perfect combination of that tartiness with the sugar.
Yeah. Let's get baking.
Right, so what we're going to start with is by adding our fresh clover cream into our pot, heating it up, and then we're going to add our sugar in with it and let it dissolve.
Lovely. So while you're busy pouring that cream in there, obviously if you guys want to get all the details for this recipe, it's so simple. Please do not sit there with a pen and paper. I've had people come up to me in the street and always ask me, where can I get the recipes you make on the show? It's really so simple. SMS the keyword Clover to 33650. That SMS that you send will cost you R1.50, and your free SMS, if you've got them, don't apply for this one. And you'll get all the details on your mobile device. You'll get a link to the recipe. You'll get all the other details you need, all right? So take it easy and just enjoy making it with us.
So who's going to be whisking, me or you?
Oh, I can whisk.
There you go, get involved. So once the sugar's dissolved, you're going to remove it off the heat, and then you're going to add the remaining clover cream.
I haven't even turned your stove on. Would it help if I turned it on for you?
It does.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Technology, all quite advanced. Perfect.
Cool,
so basically, once it starts to warm and you feel the sugar's dissolved,
I'm
there
listening.
you go. Then you're going to remove it off the heat and add the remaining cream. Okay. What I've got over there in that little black dish is your gelatine that's busy blooming.
Oh, this little black dish. I was like,
Go.
what?
Oh, no, wait. Here it is.
There's another black dish over there.
Do you want to pop it in?
So these are these little gelatine sheets that you can buy, right? So these are the ones that you can
Exactly.
soak
So what I like to use is obviously the flavorless gelatine, because you don't want any flavor to come through.
Okay.
And you have to make sure that it goes into cold water, because if it's not in cold water, it will affect the setting of it.
Oh, I see.
So you can also use literally ice cold water, scoop the water out of a glass with ice, and then bloom the gelatine in that.
Lovely. Exactly. All right, so what are we doing with it, right? I'm going to move on this side
Yeah,
too,
let's
so
swap, let's swap. So...
Do I need to turn this on yet, or is this fine like that?
You can turn it on, yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's turn
so
that
that's
guy
our
on.
berries in there. What we're going to do is create a berry compote, which is going to complement the panna cotta perfectly.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Because it's got the nice tartiness you mentioned, hey?
Exactly. We do love a good tart.
Oh, yes, we do on the show, right? Listen, the panna cottas are like our favorite things in the whole world. Panna cotta's got that nice, delicious richness to it, and it's so creamy and decadent. It's like up there. And then next up in my favorite desserts of all time has got to be, what's the one that you put the sugar on top and you crack the sugar on top, you burn it? Creme brulee. Has to be my second
I'm a
favorite.
pudding girl. I have to go traditionally South African.
Well done. Nice way to steal South Africans' hearts, all right?
If you have to pick a favorite, then
That's
it's
it.
going to be that. This recipe is also wonderful because you do add sugar, but you can substitute the sugar with coconut sugar, which actually makes it refined sugar-free. And then with the berries that are high in antioxidants, it's practically a fruit salad.
Lovely. I've seen one of those recipes of yours. You've posted it online before, so I can't wait to go and check that one out. So go and get some refined sugar. All right, so let's keep going with the recipe. I think we're talking too much, and I know.
So let's add our gelatine in. Give it a good whisk. Cool. We're starting to see the bubbles come up now.
Is that a good sign?
That's a good sign, because that means our sugar's going to be dissolving. Okay. We don't want to heat it up too hot. I think we can turn the heat off on this one.
Cool. And he's off.
Perfect. So if you heat it too hot, it's going to affect the gelatine.
Right.
That's why we're turning it off. And then we're going to add our remaining cream, which will be cold. And
That'll help it set like that.
That will help
All right,
it set.
delicious. All right, so what I'm going to do then, obviously for the sake of television, I know you at home are dying to make your very own panna cotta. I know, buttermilk panna cotta. We've got a final finished one made over there, which you've got the little bits of vanilla in there, which I think is so delicious. Then, yeah, is that your vanilla essence?
This is the vanilla. I was going to add it. We'll
and
add
then
it quickly.
Basically, compote is a whole bunch of really cooked down and reduced berries. They come out looking amazing. And if you've missed any of the details on how to make this recipe and want to make it at home, here's a quick recap.
Whip up your foodie creativity with Clover Cream. Made with love by Clover.
All right, I'm just going through some of all of your Facebook comments and, of course, some of your tweets. Thank you so much for sending them all to us. And all of the love for PJ Powers today. We're asking you, what is your favorite PJ Powers song? All you need to do is comment on our Facebook page, Afternoon Express. So, Ketiwe says, you are my role model. You inspire me. I love you, PJ. Then Kohi Naidu says, PJ, as lovely as ever. I love your son, Sanbonani. Then Jennifer Pater says, true South African diva and legend. I got to say, colour had no boundaries for you. Such a beautiful soul. I love you, and South Africa loves you. Then Doreen Lekila says, it's Jabulani. Then Bridget Newman-Smith says, still as beautiful as ever. And my favourite song is Jabulani. Thank you so much. Now, more cooking to come on Afternoon Express as we show you how to make the perfect steak. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, if there's one recipe everybody needs to know, it's how to prepare the perfect steak. Today, Clems talks us through the process before getting sizzling, and this is an amazing steak and salsa verde. I mean, this here is basic, and when it's done well, it's the best meal in the world.
And it's the simplest things in life that make me happy. Meat, and potatoes. Okay, a little bit of wine. Yeah, but I mean, getting these right, basically, you'll be onto a winning dinner party.
Exactly.
So let's get started. So we are going to cook on our beautiful Grindig Flexi-Cook, which is induction cooking. We've spoken about this before, how amazing it is, because it heats up your cookware really fast.
Yeah.
Especially when you're using cast iron. You'll find that normally on normal gas or your normal stove, it takes a long time to actually heat up the cookware.
Okay.
When it comes to a steak, you want a good solid heat. So, because I know it's going to take really quick, I can put it on now already.
Okay.
There we go.
And if you haven't got any plans for dinner already, this is looking mighty fine. All you need to do is SMS the keyword dinner to 33650, and then you'll get an SMS with the recipe, with the shopping list, and all the details that you need to make this fabulous, yummy dinner. And I mean, I'm seeing some olives, I'm seeing great patatas. This is going to be a seriously good dinner. I recommend you do it.
So we got a porterhouse steak here today, which looks like a T-bone steak, which kind of is. The difference is...
Oh, is that not a T-bone? I thought it was.
It kind of is, right? A T-bone steak is that T-bone running through the middle. Porterhouse, because of the thick cut on it. If it's a little thinner, then it's a normal T-bone.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Okay.
So why I love T-bone or porterhouse so much is because it's the best of both molds.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds. Words, you see?
Yeah, don't worry about
there
it.
you go. So you got the T-bone running down the middle, and then you got your beautiful fillet over there.
Yes.
And then you got your sirloin. So you're getting two
is
steaks.
that what it is? That's fillet, and that's... So fillet is smaller, sirloin is bigger. Okay,
there we
that's
go.
good to remember.
All right.
I'm Fleischermeister now.
Always remember to season your steak and to oil your steak, not the pan. All right, because you're going to cook with a nice high heat, but you don't want to get your pan super oily because it's going to turn into smoke.
Okay.
You don't want to do that. Okay,
Right.
I learned that lesson every day. Cool, so a little bit of oil goes onto your steak, and it's a very thick cut of steak, so you want to season it really well.
Yes.
So salt and pepper goes down, just like that, even a little bit more. And you're going to turn it over and do the other side. The longer you can actually let your steak marinate with just salt and pepper, the better.
Yeah.
So it kind of breaks down some muscle fibers and the seasoning gets in there and it just ends up being a better steak all around. So nice seasoning on there. First things first, there's a nice fat cap on the back, which is exactly that over there.
That's for flavor.
That's for flavor, and we're actually going to use that as well. So first thing, you put it down in the pan. You can hear that sizzle already, and we just put the pan on. That's how fast induction is. So you put it fat side down, you're going to see immediately some of that fat's going to start coming out. So you're going to cook the steak in its own fat.
Okay.
If I was a steak, I would want to be cooked in my own fat. So, I mean, that's...
I live in my own fat, I may as well be cooked in it.
Okay, cool. There we go. Nice and oily pan already.
Yeah.
That's just from the fat from the beef.
Ooh.
And you can turn it over and let it start cooking.
Okay.
Once it hits the pan, don't touch it. Walk
Okay.
away, okay?
Oh, it's so tempting though to want to. Like, I'm a fiddler. I like to sit and touch and get involved.
True story. Me
Right,
too.
but
But
now
I mean,
what's
let's just
that?
resist. So after it cooks for about 4 minutes on this side, turn it over, cook it for another 3 minutes on the other side.
right.
Okay. And then it's important that you let it rest.
Okay.
It has to rest. So let it rest for about 3 minutes. This is our steak that has been rested.
Oh, that looks juicy.
But we were so smart, okay? We don't waste in the Afternoon Express loft.
Yeah.
Remember that beautiful garlic that we roasted yesterday?
I made that one.
Yes, you did. So I actually used that today. I mixed it with a little bit of butter.
Yeah.
And I made a compound butter. While I rested the steak, I put a big, like, I'm not
So
even
you
alive.
squeezed that garlic into the butter, so it's full of garlic butter.
Oh, and then while I was resting, I put like a big tablespoon of butter on there, covered it with foil. All that garlic butter's gone inside the steak. It is so good. So I want to serve it up with some beautiful Mediterranean potatoes and salsa verde. Okay,
Love.
so that's your job. Salsa verde is over there. You can pop it over the potatoes, give it a good toss real quick. And that's just made out of some more roasted garlic, some olives, some basil, parsley, and a bit of like mint. Mint cuts through all of it and just makes it super fresh. And that's all I need for dinner. Good potatoes and a good steak.
Okay. Is this recipe for the salsa verde also going to be SMS'd? With
It
the
will,
keyword? Okay,
yeah.
amazing.
So let me just get
That's what I need.
hands on there.
So
There you
then,
go.
otherwise, I'm just going to phone you again when I'm shopping with the recipe. This is amazing. And I have to tell you, a Mediterranean diet is possibly my favorite diet that you can follow. It's so healthy and it's really tasty. Can I plate it for you?
You can.
Or are we leaving it in this bowl?
Whichever you like.
Oh.
And that's dinner done.
Done. Oh, how delish.
Okay, that's not a portion for one, just in case. There we go.
Was I meant to do that?
You go for it, yeah.
How delicious. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
I'm going to just take it as is for
Done.
dinner. Thank you so much.
Grundig, for a good reason.
So Irma G and I are salivating here for a moment. How good does that smell?
How are you telling people this about
we have
me?
to.
Is that my introduction? I'm like, oh, food. Oh, God, yes, no.
This is why you and I love each other, because we can just shove anything in our face on food and we're like, yum, food.
No,
Big foodies, no?
not anything.
Oh, wow, we're quite particular about food.
Yeah.
Listen, joining us now is Cape Townian radio presenter Irma G. She is an absolute legend, and she's been keeping locals entertained for more than 20 years. She's been on all Mother City's radio stations, and now she keeps listeners awake from 10 p.m. until 1 a.m. on weeknights. And today, she's joining us on Afternoon Express to tell us more about her incredible journey. So we've had such a great chat off air, and I'm really excited to bring this stuff to our viewers, because you are just one power woman. You do not
Thank you.
shy away from many things. So,
well, I'm in radio. I can't really shy away from anything. I mean, being a woman in radio means that you literally have to stand on your own twos.
So let's go straight for the jugular about standing on your own twos, being a woman of color in radio. I'm really interested to hear about your journey of getting into that space, and especially with a male-dominated industry like it was in the time that you had joined it. Paint us a picture of what it was like for you.
It was tough. I mean, radio in particular is a tough medium because you don't, you guys can get away with your gorgeous faces and bodies.
Stop it. Stop it.
But with us in radio, you literally have to paint the picture with your voice. And that's a hard thing to do, particularly if you're going through personal issues or, you're just not up to it. So that was a really interesting journey. But I mean, when I started out, I started working at an in-house radio station. I got spotted there and they said, hey, come check out what a real radio station looks like. I've never left. I literally am the guest that won't go home. But I mean, that is actually, it's given me such a cool vibe because I like working hard for what I want. And that's what women in radio are all about. You know, you have to really fight tooth and nail because like you said, when I started out, and that was straight out of high school, 96. I mean, there were not that many females in radio. But I got an opportunity, I ran with it, and I kept on trying to find ways to make myself indispensable.
But listen, there are a few more females in radio now, but still not enough. And I think it's so fascinating for me being on the male side because I'm as ignorant as they come. Being a white male on radio and on television, I do get to be as ignorant as I come because I don't get to experience what it's like to be a female of color in those spaces. And as I've been entering more and more of these sort of management meetings, everyone's talking about, women don't like hearing the sound of women's voices. This industry itself is quite harsh as it is already. How did you manage to put a foot down without losing positions? Or were there stages where you were like, I'm putting my foot down and I'm willing to lose my job for this?
It's not so easy, because, look, I got into radio because I absolutely love the medium. And for me, I've always said, and it's still a standing rule, the day when I wake up and I'm like, oh, do I have to go to work? That's the day I stop. So for me, I've really been driven from the inside out. And it really is hard because when you take that stand, you're not literally standing against a colleague or, or a couple of them. You're standing against the industry as a whole. So when you really put your foot down, you put yourself in a little bit of a double-edged sword. So it either will go your way or it won't. And I've had a situation where it didn't go my way, but I'm still here, so it's okay.
They didn't renew your contract?
Yeah.
Sure. Listen,
that's fun. Try paying bills, and then when you're having to look for work, and 3 months later you're like, oh God, I'm going to slip my wrist. But you just have to literally soldier on. That's the thing. That's what makes, I think, women particularly stronger than men in the radio industry. There's a lot more things that we have to deal with. Like you said, women don't like women's voice in radio. I don't have that problem. But it's something that
you're fighting against always.
Exactly.
Listen, community is a big part of it, and I know that there's one particular woman in your life who calls your son her very own, and she joins us on the line right now. Mr. Lil, welcome to Afternoon Express. How are you?
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine, Mayor.
The Mayor of the Western Cape, Patricia Lil, joins us on Afternoon Express. Please just share some words of encouragement and wisdom for this incredible power woman that you've got here and your relationship with her.
Well, first of all, Irma and myself share a birthday. And so we are typical Aquarians, unpredictable but very good people.
Lekker.
That's what I can share about Irma.
And her son is your son?
Yes.
Of course, I'm very fond of Irma. Not because so much I like her, but I her son. She's got the most cute little boy, Dion. And he calls me Auntie Cat, and then he looks me in the eyes. It's like an old young man.
He's an old soul.
And it's young, stylish, and his hairstyles, you must see the kind of hairstyles he come up with. So I'm very fond of her son and, of course, of Irma, too.
Oh,
She's such an inspiration to
Thank you,
young
Auntie
women
Pat.
all over our city. Because she's really proved, and I've listened to her earlier on, that, you can be anything if what you want to be, if you are prepared to work hard and work damn hard.
Indeed.
And that's why she's the leading woman in our media landscape today, and she owns her own space.
Amen.
I love listening to her on a Sunday afternoon,
She's my number one fan.
Sometimes I don't want to sing too loud the songs that you play, much for my age.
Maya, you are an absolute star. And you know what? It's so important to have this conversation for somebody like yourself, who people respect and love so much, because we can all toot our own horns, but to have somebody who we respect so much say those things about us is always a great way to remind ourselves of the power that is within. So thank you so much for joining us on the line.
Thank you so much. I've got great respect for the Fourth Estate, and I will always be there to protect you, whatever comes.
Oh, stunning. You must come and join us on Afternoon Express soon, May, all right?
Thanks, Auntie Pat.
I will do that. Thank you, Irma. Love to Dion.
Oh, my gosh. It's these moments that you must cherish.
Listen, I mean, how do you? Like, Mom, I want to go to see Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Can you call Auntie Pat and make it happen? I mean, his first concert was like in the mayor's suite, and now he thinks that's life. Good
luck with that.
I don't know how I'm going to break it to him. Like, listen, buddy, like these tickets go from like 500 and up, and no, he doesn't want to hear it. Call Auntie Pat, make it happen.
Irma, listen, you've been an absolute star being on the show with us today. I'm really inspired by the strength that you have within, and I continue to inspire the other females in the industry and females that are in your life. All right.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yes.
I had to learn a very tough lesson in life, because I'm, like I told you earlier, I'm a people pleaser. People pleaser. I wanted to do things, and I couldn't leave a room without having one person not like me. And I just wanted to leave you with this. It's a very tough lesson I had to learn in my 21 years in radio.
Yeah.
I'm not chocolate. I can't make everybody love me. So it's a tough situation, and I can say anything to the young ones, just to say to them, please, guys, just be who you are. Be absolutely strong in your nerdiness, your quirkiness, your absolutely vivaciousness. Just be who you are. That authenticity is what's going to carry you in life.
Amazing. Words of wisdom from the absolute legend herself.
Thank you.
This is your chance to win the home you've always dreamed of. SA's favorite interior design reality competition, Win a Home, sees 3 design duos transform empty spaces into lavish homes. And one of them could be yours. To enter, visit privateproperty.co.za and vote for your favorite design duo. Put yourself in line to win amazing prizes in the bi-weekly draw and automatically be entered for a chance to win the grand prize, your choice of one of 3 fully designed homes in the Eye of Africa Golf and Residential Estate in the south of Joburg. The finished property will include luxurious finishes by Plascon and Caesarstone, as well as premier home appliances by Grundig, with a total prize value of more than 3 million rand. Competition details plus T's and C's can be found on the Private Property website. Watch the breathtaking properties come to life as the design drama unfolds, and stand a chance to win the biggest prize on South African television, your very own dream home.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited not only to have PJ Powers in the loft with us today, but she's going to perform the debut of her single, Home to Africa.
Brand new.
It's only just been
Together
released
with
for a couple of weeks.
Some couple of weeks.
Some couple of weeks.
Just couple of days.
Couple of days.
Myself and a band called Radio and Weasel in Uganda. Yeah.
What inspired this song?
Home to Africa, here I am. It's a song I wrote a long time ago, and it's remixed and reworked and new lyrics, and yeah.
Well, we can't wait to hear it. Take it away.
Thank you.
Yeah, PJ Powers, Radio and Weasel. Close all doors, love will open a window. PJ Powers, Radio and Weasel. Close all doors, love will open a window. Ella, 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 la 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 la. Ella, 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 I'm going home to Africa to feel the love in Africa. I'm going home to Africa to feel the love in Africa. O'clock and the city comes to life. We feel the sun wrap her arms around this great land. Sounds of children and laughter fill the air. In my heart I know there's nothing to compare. And I'm singing Ella, 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 Ella. I'm going home to Africa to feel the love in Africa. I'm going home to Africa to feel the love in Africa. This is the land where love was born from, Mama land. This is my home, this is where I come from, paradise. We love and play in Africa. There is love in Africa. No strangers in Africa. Welcome, welcome to Africa. I'm going home to Africa to feel the love in Africa. I'm going home to Africa to feel the love in Africa. We got love in Africa. I want to live and die in Africa. What are you waiting for? Come, let's go to Africa. One love we are preaching, we got no strangers in Africa. All of the pastures so green, all of the people so real. Want you to feel how I feel. Let's go to Africa. I'm going home to Africa. Let's go to Africa. Love in Africa. To Mama Africa. To Africa. To feel the love in Africa. Mama Africa, yeah. Mama Africa, yeah.
And then we've got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
You have prepared another little something,
Special
a
something.
special song
Yeah.
for somebody special.
You have got the most beautiful face in the whole world. And
Yeah.
I want nothing to love me as much as you.
Oh, she
This is
does.
for you. There's a dream I feel so rare, so real.
I don't know why the song
For the world in union, the world as one.
Oh my gosh. All right. I have to go give you a hug. You're amazing. You know what it is?
You made me cry. You made me cry.
Are you teary?
That song is just so beautiful. Because it represents, I think, a lot of who we are as South Africans at a particular point in our lives where I think it'll always remain timeless. It evokes everything in you.
Yeah.
And it's something that someone mentioned on Twitter I saw just now, that your music isn't about the words or about the notes. You make people feel things when you sing.
Well, the most important thing at the moment that I want people to feel is that there's a certain person's name I don't mention anymore. But the World in Union, when I sing it, I know that we are not, as a nation, defined by one person and a couple of cronies. I want people to actually know that we are the same people that voted in '94. We're a great nation. I travel a lot. We all travel a lot. I tell you what, there is something. Don't allow it, what's going on in the country at the moment to define us as people, because we are way beyond that.
And your chorus, a new world has begun.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow. And now, are you still gigging? Where can people come and watch your
You can come see
shows?
me tonight, actually.
Yay!
You can come tonight.
Are you Cape Town, Durban? Where are you tonight?
Tonight I'm at Cafe Roo.
That's
Just
Cape
up
Town,
the
right.
road, yeah, in Cape Town.
In Noordhoek, actually. It's lovely
No, I
there.
was in Noordhoek last night.
Oh,
I'm in
you're the town
tonight,
one,
yeah.
okay.
And what a great venue, great sound. And then I go back and I'm in the Karoo for Thursday and Friday.
Lovely.
And just check my Facebook page, because I'm
savvy now.
constantly.
Yes,
I've been learning from the youngsters.
Trying to say, today was the first day that PJ ever put out an Insta story in her life ever. She learned that today. Well done. PJ Powers 1. Go follow her.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
We've loved having you on the show, and we've loved having you as well. You know, Irma, I started my radio career with Irma.
Oh, my
on
word.
Good Hope FM. Yeah, all those years ago.
I was there a couple of years before her. She's not that old.
Perfect little people sitting here.
Don't you want to gag?
True story. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for watching it with us.
Yeah, we absolutely love hanging out with you every single afternoon, 4 to 5 on SABC3. Thanks to all the love on social media. Keep them coming. #Afternoon Express. It's basically time for us to say goodbye. I'm so sad.
Tomorrow, same time, same place. Good
You were
night.
singing a song earlier of PJ. Don't you want to end with that?
Oh, come on.
Japulane.
Oh, good night, everybody.
I try. I sing in the shower a lot.
Search for a home on any device, anytime, anywhere. Private property, a home for everyone.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Nada. Feel Good production.